How about if I go through to the back of the room? Mr. Lockhart.
Now that raises a question that I have there. If you're only going to have motorcycles, what basis do you have to think that this is going to be financially self-sufficient? You say you're just going to pay for itself entirely out of user fees, but you're cutting out 2/3 of the potential market.
And that's been a complaint by some of the groups as well.
If you don't, well, let me ask it this way: if you don't make a profit, who takes up the slack?
Well, the design that we have at this point, we talked about this in the last meeting as well, is to have a vendor manage the OHV park for us, and they're going to pay us a percentage of fees that they collect from that. So from a county standpoint, we're not really incurring a lot of expense beyond the development side of this. We won't have staff on site. We'll expect the vendor to do that for us as well. What we're trying to do is to recover some of the initial investment that we made in the park itself. So I guess I'm not quite clear on why the county should be significantly concerned about the number of users.
Well, as somebody just said, you want to have this last for a while. If the vendor doesn't make money, the vendor will not continue to operate.
That's a possibility. That that they won't do as well as what they had hoped. But I think time will have to tell with that.
Mr. Wolken, this process has been going on for 4 months or perhaps 6 months. One issue, and you know it well, is the highway improvement. I guess my question is, why hasn't that been addressed earlier? It does seem like a potential drop-dead issue that could, I hate to put an exact number on it. You've actually put perhaps a minimum number of a turn lane of 160,000. It probably goes on up from there. At what point will you have a traffic study? Who's going to be doing it? And when will it be going to the state? And what timeline do they have generally to react to a traffic study?
Yeah, certainly we have had initial discussions with our Development Services Department who oversees some of these aspects Mr. Miller was talking about. And they have indicated they feel there will be a need for a left turn lane into the Aztec site. And we've had some discussions with property owners in that area about the potential of sharing in that cost as well. We envision probably a traffic study needing to be done during the month of May. We've allotted May as kind of our trails and land month. And they've been pretty tied up environmental issues for the month of April. And so we'll start that process here in the next week.
Are alternative sites being considered, and by who?
We've looked at 5 different sites before coming to this one, and some, to be honest, weren't even for sale at the time we looked at them and approached the owners about that possibility. Others were, and for a variety of reasons they were not acceptable either to the current ownership or to the county meeting our needs. So
The reason I'm asking is just looking at the controversy, looking at the archaeological presentations and everything. It just seems like this is a very difficult area to resolve.
that's kind of the point of the analysis that we're going through at this point. As I talked last time, is we're really doing a 2-track study going on here. One is a feasibility study, the other one is more of a master planning study. And so they're going down the same track at the same time. And if we get to the point to determine that from a feasibility standpoint, it's not going to work in this particular area, then obviously we'll have to look at different sites. But that's kind of the point of these last 2 months, is that we're trying to analyze that. Yes.
And it's been written that there are 4 other parks in El Paso County that are open for use by motorcyclists. Can you tell me where those are?
I'm only aware of 2 public, I'll call them private, but they're open to the public. Certainly you have Aztec, you have Wild Rad right behind Aztec, which allows, I think, for some public use. I believe what's the gentleman who shoots the guns? Has motocross there as well, and I've heard there's a small OHV park along I-25.
But nothing owned by El Paso County?
No, certainly not. No. We're the city.
Are any of those trail parks, or are those just motocross?
It's my understanding the one along I-25 has trails.